Hey, it's your boy NG Gavin with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about whether you can start an Amazon business for under $1,000. So let's head over to my computer and let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're going to answer this question today, whether you can start an FBA business for under $1,000. And the answer is absolutely not. You cannot do it, okay? It's just, to me, it's impossible. You can't do it. So I want to go over some pointers that you probably may or may not know, and this is going to be really interesting. So obviously the shipping costs and the air freight, you obviously know that's going to have to be paid. And if you kind of like a quick idea of what you're going to sell your product for is the cost of the product, then the fees, and then what you're going to sell it for. So you can break it up into three different sections. So say, for example, say the product is selling for like $30. You want to buy it for at least like anywhere from $2 to $3, because then you're going to pay for it to get to Amazon, and that may be like basically double the cost by the time you pay import duties and taxes and all that sort of stuff. So like if it's like $3 and it costs like $10 landed, then Amazon, depending on the size and the weight, factor in another third, so another double the price, so that's $20. And then your profit at the end is like another $10. So you divide it into thirds. So at least you're going to make some good profit on it. So that that kind of helps you when you first pick the product, because you like if the product costs like $10 and it costs like $20 to get landed, and the fees are $7 or $8, and you're trying to sell it for $30, you're not going to make any money. So just keep in mind thirds, okay? So obviously the ocean freight and the air freight's gonna factor that in. If it's a light product, do it by air freight. If it's an ocean product, it's big enough. It's not oversized. It's still standard, but it's not. It has to be shipped by ocean freight because it's because of the weight. Just keep in mind too. People think that ocean freight is cheap, but what really kills you with the ocean freight is the processing fees. There's so many port processing fees, your agent fees. There might be hazmat, or there could be like a fumigation fee. There'll be a picking up the container, dropping it on the wharf fee. Then there could be an unloading fee if you're doing less than container load. There's so many fees that people don't understand that sometimes freight. People get the misconception of ocean freight. All right, so just be aware of that, and if you're not sure, just ask your freight forwarder. Okay. Then obviously I just mentioned the agent fees. They're going to charge you to do all that processing for you. Do not skip this step, because you need an agent, because he's going to do, or him or her will do all the processing for you. Do not try to do it yourself. Okay, that's what they do. That's what they're good at. They'll do it faster and cheaper than you can ever do it. The way I found my agent, shipping agent, was just on Google. That's how I found mine. Okay, and he's very good actually, Indian guy, and I've been very happy with him. So if the shipping agent is not giving you what you want, then just go to another one. But the shipping agent fees are it's gonna be anywhere, typically for ocean freight, anywhere from $300 to $700 maybe. Just depends on the item. Some people do it for like $200 or $300, which is pretty cheap. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna have to fork out a few $100s to get this stuff cleared, and you cannot be avoided. Okay, it has to be done. It has to be paid. So the other one is the tariffs. When you import anything from overseas, there's going to be tariffs, and there's all duties. Like basically, duties is just what you've got to pay, the percentage you've got to pay, and the tariffs is kind of the same thing. It's every type of product has a different classification or HS code, and that basically means on how you're going to be taxed. Okay, so typically in Australia it's about it just depends on the product, anywhere from 10 or 15%. And if it's a luxury car, obviously, it's something like 40%, 30%. If it's something small, it'll be much, much less. But typically 10 or 15%. Then in Australia as well, you've got to pay GST onto that. So there's another 10%. So for example, let's just say if you bring a product in and it's less than, I think it's less than $1,000, you don't have to pay any taxes if you just go through air freight, okay? But if it's say like $5,000, you're gonna have to pay GST on it, which is $500. This is the value of the goods, okay? Not what you sell it for. I know it's different in America, but the value of the goods that you bought in China, this is for Australia. So if it costs you 5,000 USD, they'll work it out in Australian dollars. Maybe let's just say off the ball, it's 6,500, okay? Just, I don't know, but I'm just guessing here, okay? $6,500 Australian. Then you're gonna have to pay 10% duty on that, which is another 650. Then you're gonna have to pay like the tariff, like the HS code, like what classification does the product go under? Then you have to pay like duties on that. So that's even more. So just be aware of that. Then you've got all the other costs that I just mentioned above: the ocean freight, the agent fees, the delivery costs to the FBA. Okay, there's a lot that you have to consider. Your shipping agent can do all this for you, and they'll send you like a couple of invoices, and you just have to pay them, and they'll organize the delivery and everything. Okay, so just be aware of these. I think a lot of people don't understand the fees involved when it comes to ocean freight. So once you start getting the product, obviously you're going to need like a pro account. Okay, I just got a pro account when I first started. Pro account just allows you to sell unlimited items, unlimited fees. There's no fees. It just costs $39. As in, like normally if you don't have a pro account, it's going to cost you I think 99 cents per sale. It's like eBay, right? eBay. I mean, Amazon still charges you fees, but eBay don't charge you. eBay charge you like a listing fee, whereas Amazon don't charge you a listing fee. If you've got a pro account, it's just $39 USD. But if you don't have a pro account, it's 99 cents per item. So you want to pay the listing fee? If you don't, just get a pro account. So your logo, you're gonna have to get a logo because you want to look professional. So I mean, that's just a given. Okay, you're just gonna have to get a logo. You can find logos on Fiverr. That's where I got mine done. $5, $10, pretty cheap. In fact, my logo costs $10. Pretty cheap at all. Or you might just want to get a couple of sellers and just buy a couple of gigs and just see which one's the best. That's another thing I did as well. So let's just say, assuming just logo $10. Now you're going to need some samples. Okay, so you're not going to just randomly go to Alibaba and just buy the product and just hope it's good. You're going to have to get some samples. And to get those samples, generally what will happen is they won't charge you for the sample. Depends on the item, but if it's only a small item, they won't charge you for the sample. But they'll just pay you they'll just say, look, just pay for the shipping. If it's FedEx or DHL, it's going to cost you typically 30 or 40 USD. You're going to have to get at least 3 or 4 or 5 different samples. So anywhere from $100 to $200. This is something that do not skip. All right, do not skip this step. You must get samples. Or if you order a whole bunch of 1,000 pieces and they're totally crap, you're screwed. So just take the time to get the sample. Your box design too. If you're going to have a product, you mightn't have it in a box design box initially. You might just have it in a poly bag. But if you have it in a box design, I mean, I encourage you to have box design later on down the track. But I got my box design for like $70 on Fiverr. So there's, just go box packaging design. There's so many guys that'll do it, and what you want to do is you just want to get your box design and just get the template from the manufacturer, and then get that template and then send it to these guys here, and they'll just just tell them what you want, and then they'll just get the graphics and then put it on the box. Make sure it says made in China on the box. If you don't, you're screwed. You have to get a sticker, stick it on the box. So make sure it says made in China. And box design will typically cost you, sort of $100. Okay. Now you're gonna have to get your photos done. So there's another, $200 to $500. Just depends on, where you get your photos done. I know Jungle Scout have like a glossary of, people that'll do all that stuff for you. I forget the name, what it's called, but if you just go to Jungle Scout, and there you go, just go to junglescout.com and go Jungle Scout Market, and just go to photography on the left hand side, and these guys they're just professional people that just do Amazon photos. So they know exactly what you want, and just look for the deal. You get a couple of lifestyle photos and your black and whites and that. So typically, $200 to $500, just depends on how much you want to spend. I got a local guy in Australia to do it, and he does it for $30 a photo. Now you might want to get a 3D render. This is not necessarily the case when you first start, but basically, if you know what a 3D render is, it just makes they do a package design and they do the render really, really cool. And this sets you apart from any other listing. All the top sellers, they're just basically going all out with the listing, with the images, and you can get really cheap 3D render of your product on Fiverr. Again, Fiverr is your friend, okay? Fiverr is your best friend. And typically, let's just say this one here. So let's have a look at this one here. Someone will make this in a 3D software, and they'll wrap it with your label and your logo, and just send them all that stuff. See what it looks like here. So this is actually a 3D render. It may look like the actual product, but it's not. It's a computer generated 3D design. See, you may have seen these. They look really professional. They just make your product pop, and they just give you your brand, that really professional look. So you may want to consider this down the track. You obviously don't get it when you first start, okay? Now you want to register an LLC or like a sole proprietor in Australia, or like a private company. You want to do this from the get-go, because you don't want to just start with just your personal. Like, you have to have a business registered, right? So at the minimum, just get a sole proprietor. I don't know what it's like in the States. I think you can get it for like $50. In Australia, I think it's like $160. It used to be $110 when I first got my first business, ABN. And then you can just start trading. I don't know that there might be other licenses that you have to get for that state in America, but if we're just talking Australia, all you need is an ABN. It costs you like $160, $170 if I remember. Just look up fair trading or something on Google, and they'll direct you to where you can register. You can do it online, I think. But if you want to get a private company, which is what I've got, it costs you more, obviously. A really good one where I got my company done is Easy Companies. This is for Australia, and you can do it all online, right? And you can get this process takes about 30 minutes. You just need yourself, and you need someone else to be the director to register a company in Australia. Now it costs about $880 Australian, but if you want to get the U-Butte plaque and the your documentation, which you'll need to when you go to the bank, you'll need that documentation. That costs like it's $250. I just got that as well as the certificate and everything. It cost me like $1,100. Then once you got your company registered, then just take that binder that has got all the information in it, and just go to the bank and say, I want to open up a business account. Once you open up a business account, like a business bank account, then everything is all consolidated in your company and now your bank accounts, and everything is sweet. But if you do this, this will just make it really, really seamless. It says 544, but it's by the time they do all the other add-ons, it's actually more. Okay, so then there's that. That's a cost that you have to get. Okay, some other seller tools you may need. You probably don't need ManyChat to start off with, but a lot of advanced sellers are using ManyChat. It's about $10 a month. You need some sort of feedback software. This is probably critical. I'm using feedback. I think Feedback Whiz. I can't remember. I have to look it up. But I'm using that, and it's. I'm actually gaining reviews. I looked at my Amazon account, and I actually gained like 2 or 3 reviews in the last 10 days. So this software does work. Just pick one that has good reviews. There's a bunch of them out there, but they typically go from about $20 to $49, $39. I think one of them is Feedback Whiz, Feedback Genius. There's a bunch of them anyway. But I think this, you need feedback software because, feedback really drives your listings. If you don't have any feedback, you're pretty much screwed. So this is, you can't skip on this feedback software, but just you can get a cheap one for about $20. Just so you're starting out, obviously. That's what. So you're going to need promo materials, and these promo materials are going to be things that you insert into your product when you buy it, like a thank you card. I've got a thank you card for my product, insert cards. There's other people doing some cool stuff that you've seen, with QR codes and messenger codes, just other ways to legally keep in contact with the customer without breaching any of Amazon's terms and conditions. Coupons, putting coupons and stuff on your insert cards, that sort of stuff. So that material does cost quite a bit to produce. Obviously, there's going to be cost to actually produce it, like going back to box design. It could be logo, promo design as well. And then you got the actual material to get it printed off, to get 1,000 thank you cards to get printed off in your product. Or it depends on how much volume you're using. That can probably cost $40 to $60, just depending on where you get it printed and how much. And then obviously the cost to produce the graphics for it. Okay, so there's another cost too. Then you got brand registry. Basically, what that means is you're going to register your brand with Amazon, and then people can't just hijack your listing, and they can't just post a product and use your brand and say it's your brand, which is basically hijacking. You can just go to Amazon; they'll shut the listing down immediately because you got brand registry. Now you might want to do that initially, but you might want to think about it, and that's going to cost anywhere from $225 to $400. This is according to Google here. Okay, so there it is there. And so maybe look at that down the track. I don't think you need to worry about it straight up. Now the Amazon store, this one here again, the Amazon store is going to be I think it's about 99. I haven't got an Amazon store. It's going to be about 99 cents, I think, per item sold. And basically what an Amazon store is, this is like an Amazon store here. All right. So when they go and click on the listing, the store, right? So for example here, Body Boss, when you go and click on that, normally what they come to is just a page with just all your listings. But if you've got a Amazon shop, you can actually make it look really nice like this. It just looks more professional basically. But to get the store, you first have to be only brand registered companies can get the store. So I wouldn't even worry about it for now. All right, we're almost there, guys. Let's look at the PPC costs. Okay, so when you first start in your product, you need to get eyeballs onto your product, and typically the average conversion rate is about 10%, which is like standard, meaning every 10 people on Amazon that come and see your product, one person's going to buy it. And that's pretty high compared to e-commerce, which is like 1 or 2%. That is extremely high. So you don't really need a lot of eyeballs to sell products with that default type of average 10% conversion rate, but you still need eyeballs. So when you get your first product, no one's going to see it. Like, people said to me that, Amazon favors new sellers. That's BS. It's just BS. It's not true. Like, Amazon's just not going to promote your product just because you listed it. It's going to sit in the cyberspace of Amazon listings, never going to be seen. You're going to have to rank it with either PPC or some sort of external traffic. So, you have to spend some money to get the product, to get eyeballs to the product. And the only way it's going to go up in rank organically is sales, all right? And then sales velocity. But you're going to need to spend at least $500 to $1,000 just to rank your product. All right, provided, assuming that your photos are good, organic product good, the product is actually good, if it's a bundle, if it's a good bundle, everything's going to line up. External traffic, that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. And the external traffic is all the advanced sellers are doing external traffic, Google ads, Facebook ads, because they're just getting more eyeballs to their listing from externally, and that's where the game is really being played right now. So all the people that don't know how to do Facebook ads or Google ads are getting left behind. They're getting crushed by these people that are doing this external traffic. Now there's a bunch of external traffic services. I do not recommend any of the launch services. Okay, there's a bunch of them. Like, you just go to Google and go Amazon launch service. I do not recommend you do this because some of them are using outdated tactics, and you can get your account banned. I mean, gone are the days where you give away 99% of your product. Do not do it. There's a bunch of them. Amazon launch service. Like, there's Zon something. Here we go. Product launch services. There's a bunch of them, and stuff that, like, I just keep away from that stuff because it can be like, you can get your account banned, and people on Amazon are just on YouTube are promoting this stuff. I do not use them. Definitely don't use Vipon. Okay, this is one that's I wouldn't use it. I heard people are getting their accounts banned from Vipon. If it's too much, if it's like a 99%, you're gonna get your account shut down. Viral Launch, people have used it in the past since the new Amazon hack, new Amazon changes. You can't give away 99%. These type of launch services, in my opinion, they're overpriced, and then they just boost up your product, and then your product goes back down. So you might as well just do your own. Zon Blast, that's the one I was talking about. I would not use Zon Jump. I would not use these launch services. Okay, they're overpriced, and once your listing goes up and it falls back down, what do? So another really good one that I saw the other day, which doesn't use this, it's called zonrush.co. And what these guys do is they do Amazon PPC. They do it the right way. So these guys are actually the only, I haven't used them yet. I'm thinking about using them. This is the only service I would recommend. And what they do is they use Amazon PPC, and they have your coupon at about 30, 40, or even 49%. I wouldn't go over 50%. They drive external traffic from Facebook, and then they do a follow-up series through ManyChat. They do a ManyChat follow-up series, and they do all this for you. You don't have to worry about. You just pay them, and then they'll just do this for you. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out ManyChat, how to connect it, how to do Facebook ads, anything. So this is a service I saw the other day. I think it's a really good. Read the testimonials. People have got to page one literally, and within weeks using this service, and it's a legit service. It's not driving BS traffic. It's real traffic. So check out Zon Rush. I'm not an affiliate. I just wanted to pop that in. Okay, guys, we're getting there, but this is important. You know all the things involved to starting an Amazon business, and you're not going to probably hear this from other YouTubers because they don't want you to know this stuff, because you're going to go, oh, it's too hard. Okay, not me. I'm just going to tell you how it is. Now, prep center fees. If you're in Australia, you're going to need some sort of guy in between, whether that's you leave it at your home, or you're going to need like a prep center or like a storage center, because Amazon Australia do only give you like 300 units standard and 100 oversized. In America, in Amazon USA, they just unlimited. Like, they've got the warehouses. In Australia, there's only 2 warehouses. So you're gonna have a cost. You're gonna have to. If you just leave it at your home, then that's fine. But if you don't have that facility, or your products are too big, or you're not in Australia like me, you're gonna have to soak up the cost of an external storage, or like a prep center. All right, and that may cost anywhere from, say, $50 to $100 a month. Depends on your product, how big your product is. But generally, if you find a good prep center, there's a couple I'm working with, but I'm not really happy with them. But that's why I'm not going to recommend them. But when I do find a really good one, I'll let you guys know. I'm just starting a new one now, and what the role of the prep center is you send your goods from China to their warehouse facility, which hopefully is secure, and then you can then just send as bits and pieces to Amazon Australia, because obviously you've got a volume issue. You can't send just 1,000 units there like you can with America. You can't do it with Amazon Australia. So that's the issue that you're going to run into. Or if they're small enough, just leave it at your home and just go to the post office and just send it as you need if the items are small enough. Okay, so just consider that. But that's going to, if you're on Amazon Australia, you're going to definitely have to fork it out anywhere from $50 to $100 per month if you don't have your own storage fees. And the prep center will be typically if you need to get your product labeled, or you want to use it for if you're doing retail arbitrage, or you're doing something that you're going to need someone to take off labels and prep the product and put barcodes on them and combine products and bundle and then send it to Amazon. Typically they charge about $1 to $1.25 per item to do that, depending on what you want to get done. And just Google like prep centers in Australia and in America. Okay, but again, it's another cost that if you use a prep center, you're just going to have to absorb that cost in your product. If it's a high turnover product, it's a good selling product with good profit, then you just eat that cost up. So bookkeeper, you're going to need a bookkeeper, because a bookkeeper is the one that's going to be keeping all your finances. Right now, you can do it with like online bookkeepers, and if you run software like QuickBooks or Xero, then you're going to need that to which I didn't add that to the cost. You're going to need that, so then once all your fees and all your outgoings and ingoings, it's all tracked by your bookkeeper, right? So when you give it to your accountant, then it's just nice and ready there for your accountant to do it. If it's not neat and in order, they're going to charge you more money. And then the accountant, probably $50 a month. I would say probably $500 a year. All right. Now this is for your accountant to lodge your taxes to, like, the ATO. In Australia it's ATO, in America the IRS. So they're going to have to know all the fees, all the sales taxes, all that sort of stuff. Once your bookkeeper puts all that together, then when you send it to your accountant, then they just have all those figures. Then they can deduct and give you the stuff that you're eligible for from the tax very seamlessly. If it's not in order and it's all over the place, you have to pay more money. So just get an online bookkeeper that knows QuickBooks or Xero, and they'll be able to do all that sort of stuff for you. So as you can see, guys, this is not some sort of hobby. This is a real business with real costs. Laptop, this is negotiable. I'm assuming everyone's got a laptop or PC. But if you want just a dedicated laptop with just all your Amazon stuff on it, typically I would say that's probably a bit over the board. I would say $500 will get you a pretty good laptop these days. Okay. Now, the internet, that's a given, and that's an expense that you can deduct. Okay, so that's why I've got it here, $30 a month. It's a business expense, and that'll go into your bookkeeper, and you can deduct that every month. It'll come off your expended, all your costs at the end of the year when you put your taxes in, right? So let's move on here. So you got miscellaneous stationery. You're gonna need diary. You're gonna need pens. I've got that $50 a year. Okay, it's not much, but you're gonna have to need document stuff. You're gonna have to write stuff down. You got a notepad, taking notes when you're doing research, product research. You're gonna need that stationery, old school, but it still works perfectly. Now with your taxes, okay, just keep in mind that with business or company business, you're a business. The company taxes in Australia, it's basically 30% that you're gonna have to pay, and then you have to pay GST as well. Now, when you import stuff over from overseas, you pay the GST. You don't have to pay it again. You don't get double dipped. In other words, right? Whatever you pay when it comes into the country, that offsets the cost. So talk to your accountant, but just go to the ATO side here, and they'll have some information. If you're in America, just go to the IRS. But typically, in Australia, it's 30% for company tax. If you're a personal individual, I think it's like 47%. So that's why you have a company, and then obviously you're gonna have to pay taxes at the end of the year for all your goods, and that's 30%, guys. So when people say, hey, I made this and I made this and this, they're not, either they don't know, or they're not. This is not profit. This is just before tax. All right. So it might sound, hey, I'm making $100,000 a month, but you're not really making $100,000 a month because you haven't. That's not the real cost, because they don't know the profit. You know what I mean? Like, that's the profit before the taxes. So it sounds like it's big, but it's not really that big. All right, if you know what I mean. All right. So just bear in mind, like, you're gonna have to put money aside, like put some of that profit aside into another bank account, because when it's time to pay the taxes on it, you're gonna have to pay the money. All right. So it's not all just roses and, hey, I made this amount every month. It's not like that at all. This is what people are preaching on YouTube. So there's probably a lot of things that I've missed, but these are just gives you an idea. Now let's just lowball it, okay? To stuff that we don't really need, because obviously you're first starting off, and let's just lowball it. So with the shipping costs and the agent fees, I mean, that's really hard to calculate because it's on a shipment per basis, and then you're going to look at you might do 2 or 3 shipments a year. It just depends on how fast product is moving. So that's kind of hard to kind of figure out. The tariffs as well, it's kind of hard to figure out as well. But clearly, as you know, I mean, it's clearly impossible to start with less than $1,000. I don't know why people even say that. It's just, maybe they're just trying to get YouTube views. So this seller account, right, you can't, that's a mandatory. I'm just going to go through the mandatory ones, okay? Seller account, logo, it's mandatory. It just has to be done. Samples, just mandatory, it has to be done. You are crazy if you don't get samples. Box design, we can leave that one out, it's not necessary. Photos of the product, mandatory. If you got shit photos, guess what? Your product's not going to sell. LLC or the private company is mandatory, all right? Cannot. Software tools. You know what? I'm probably going to say yes to this, because you're just starting out, right? You need some tools to give you an idea. I want to do a review on eGrow. Don't buy eGrow. Just wait till I do the review, because there was an issue that I had with it. Okay, so you might want to watch that video when I haven't done it yet, but I'll put it up soon. Okay, in maybe a week or so. Just see how it goes. Week to 2 weeks. Okay. So I would say just starting out, yes, mandatory. As you get more experience, not as mandatory. But, you know, you got to eat that cost up. Feedback Whiz or feedback software, mandatory. Okay? Get the cheapest one for $20. But you need some follow-up to get your freaking reviews, or you're not going to get any feedback. Promo material like insert cards and thank you cards, I'm going to probably say this one's not mandatory. Not when you first start, okay? Maybe later on. Brand registry, not mandatory. Amazon store, not mandatory. PPC, and I'm going to say this one is mandatory. Because your product going to sit in Amazon listing cyberspace. How are people going to find it? And this one too, I'm going to say this one here, I'm going to leave this one out because you got the PPC. But if you're very aggressive with it, you can do the PPC as well as external traffic. All right, so I'll leave this one out, but you have to do either the PPC or the external traffic. You need to get eyeballs to your listings when you're first starting out. It's going to sit in cyberspace, and no one's going to buy your shit. Now, for externally, I'm going to leave this one not mandatory. But if you're outside Australia, you're going to need some sort of external storage. Okay, so that's going to be mandatory if you're outside. I'm assuming you're inside. If you're in the US, you won't need to bother about that because Amazon has unlimited space. The prep fees as well, that's going to be optional. The bookkeeper to get your shit sorted so it's in order before you do taxes is mandatory. Now you can get online bookkeepers. I mean, I saw a couple of online bookkeepers here. I don't think you can get it for about $50, or you could just get this one here. This book. I just did a random search. They're charging like $200, $300, $500. This is not necessary. Okay. I did leave out the software. I didn't add the software for the QuickBooks or the Xero. You can get a free trial with those. Okay. I didn't add that. I might have to add it now. So QuickBooks Xero. Just start off with a free trial, and then you're good to go. All right. But you definitely need this software. It's actually YXO, but they just pronounce it Xero. Xero QuickBooks. I think I bought my last QuickBooks. I'm using Xero at the moment, the free trial. But let's just go and have a look here. This integrates seamlessly as well with your so $20 a month. This integrates seamlessly with Amazon as well. So you can actually get all the stuff from Amazon and just send it off to your bookkeeper. So it's going to be really seamless. So that's $20 a month. All right. That's mandatory. Accountant, this is the end of the year. That is mandatory. You have to pay an accountant to do your taxes. Okay, laptop, probably get away with. The internet, that's mandatory. Obviously, if you don't have internet, you don't have a business, but you can deduct this. Okay. Stationery, pens, I'm going to say that is mandatory. I mean, I write so much stuff down, and obviously taxes, that's mandatory. Okay. So it's kind of hard to kind of figure out a cost, but if you're looking at monthly costs and if you try to break these down, it's kind of hard monthly costs because you're looking at about 300 there, 300, say 400 there, 400, what's that, 10, 20, 400, 400, 600, 900, let's say you get a company. There's already $2,000. Then you got the software, $100, $2,000. There's 3,200. 3,200, and you got 12 times that to 3,200 times 24. 3,200 plus 240. Plus 20 equals 10. So we're up to 3,440 already. We're just calculating this over a year, okay? Then you got the PPC costs. There's another $500. Let's just lowball that. Then you got your bookkeeper, which is say $50 a month. So that's 500, 600 plus 600. Then you got your software. That's 200, 240 plus your accountant at the end of the year, 500 plus your internet. We're already up to 5,000, guys. Internet is $30 per month, so that's 360 plus stationery. It's only $50. Then you got your then you've got to submit. Then you got to pay your taxes, which is another 30%. That's kind of hard to calculate because you don't know what you're going to earn, and then GST. Okay. So this is not including the cost of the freight and your lodging of your taxes at the end of the year. This is just basically everything in between, kind of lowballed, and including the company. Forming a company, not an LLC. If we don't form a company, so if we just do a LLC and then company, okay. So the company is 5690, and then the LLC would be. Let's just say take away 1,050, 4,640. So this is like per year, okay, guys? So this is just like to give you an idea of all your costs per year, and some of these costs, I done in USD, so this is actually going to be more. But it just gives you an idea anyway, okay? So I hope this dispels that myth that these costs here are yearly costs. That is excluding your taxes that you're going to pay at the end of the year, and it's excluding your inventory. So there's absolutely no way you could do this for under $1,000. Absolutely no way. I mean, you could try to do it, but you're not going to be professional. You're not going to have photos. You're going to probably do the wrong product research. You're not going to have the tools. You're not going to be able to rank it. You're not going to have a bookkeeper. You're not going to pay your taxes. You're not going to even have an accountant. You're probably going to be working off, a shitty laptop. I don't know where these people get this information, but at least you got an idea now of how much you need. Now, what do I recommend that you're going to need to start off with? Minimum 10 grand. Minimum, because you need inventory. Plus, you're going to have all these recurring costs just to run your business, right? So I hope this gives you an idea, guys. Thanks for sticking this through to the end. Hope you enjoyed the video. Alright guys, if you want to know my number one recommendation to make money online as an affiliate marketer, and the tools that you need are basically a laptop and internet connection, okay, and obviously some knowledge. Click the link in the description, and that's my number one recommendation, okay? I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like or subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. Let us know your thoughts, because I definitely really wanted to make this video because it's a question that a lot of people get asked, and I hope I've answered it correctly. If I haven't, just leave a comment below. So guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.